Have you ever had one of those days when you just feel a little bit off? You're sort of out of balance, like you've lost your equilibrium? Well, in today's session, we're going to draw a light natured image that illustrates just that in a fun way. We'll use a Zentangle pattern as well as a cartoon element in keeping with the channel name, Tangles and Toons, and we'll have a little fun creating this drawing together. I hope you'll join with me. We'll start our drawing with a couple pencil marks. We want to make a curvy line that starts roughly in the center, goes up, maybe kind of curves around. Just do this randomly, but give it a little flair. And we're not going to be obligated to follow this precisely, but just give ourselves some kind of a basic curvy line pattern that we can start with. And that's all we need. Now we're going to jump right into the tangle, and I'm going to turn my tile this way to make it a little easier for me to work on. And this tangle is called Stikz, S-T-I-K-Z. And I think it's a really fun pattern to work with. And as you can see here, I'm starting by drawing some long rice-shaped pieces, little sticks, hence the name, that are stacking on top of each other. And I'm purposely moving them back and forth to make it a little more visually interesting. And then we're going to stack these up and follow our line. But now we get to an area where we want to start to curve, so we add a little orb there, and then we just connect our next little stick on an incline. And this can be done in a variety of ways, of course, and we'll experiment as we go along. But let's add a couple here. Just like that. And we're going to just continue this shape along that path. And we can deviate from that path. It's not like we've created some kind of rule here now that we can't violate. Just whatever you think looks interesting, just keep making it. You can see roughly I'm making these, about that size, the thickness of my pen, or a little wider, just so I don't fill up the whole tile quite yet. You can vary the size of the orbs, you can vary the length of the little sticks, make them even or uneven. They don't have to be perfectly symmetrical on each side, kind of give them that little oblong wobbliness. That makes it fun. And you can put a couple patterns together real close so that we can make a sharper corner, so to speak. And you can see I'm just building this along that curved line that we drew. Just have some fun with it. I've always enjoyed this pattern myself. I just think it's a fun, interesting shape that you can really be playful with and do all kinds of interesting things. It can be used in a variety of ways too, of course. I'm just giving you one out of a zillion examples. In this case, I'm building mine so that it looks like it has a little bit of instability in it, but also a playful movement across my tile here. You can vary where the orbs go and how they stack together. You can leave spaces or you can fill it in with orbs. Just whatever interests you visually, whatever is fun for you to draw, that's how you should do it. I'm just going to keep building this around until I get all the way to the other side of my tile. Or if you're using a sheet of paper, of course, same idea. And there we go. Now the next step with this pattern is we want to fill in those little spaces between the sticks. This will add a little bit of contrast to our drawing, and it's just nice to see some of those inked areas. You can leave it open, of course, if you prefer, if you're doing something in the background and want to have it show through, but our drawing today is a little more simplified than that. We're just having a fun, light session here, not filled with tons of detail, just some fun with a light-natured, silly kind of a tangle, and we're going to add a cartoon element or two that will just add to the fun. But we're hoping that it will illustrate this idea of being off balance. Sometimes it's fun to use art that way. You don't have to. Art doesn't always have to have some secret, deeper meaning. But sometimes when you're trying to think, well, what am I going to draw? I don't really have a subject matter or a topic or a thing, a character. I don't know what I'm going to draw. I'm just not sure what to do with it. Well, then think of ideas. They can be abstract. They can be concrete, whatever it is. But you can try to use your art then, whether it's Zentangle art, cartoon art, realistic art, comic book art, whatever it is, you can try to use your art to illustrate that concept, the way you're feeling, the emotion you're experiencing, whatever it is, and just have fun with it. And it may not perfectly convey it to everyone who looks at it, but it can be your way of expressing yourself and what you're experiencing or what you're trying to convey. So just have fun with it. So today we're trying to illustrate in a fun and playful way the idea of being off balance, losing our equilibrium. And it could be a physical thing or it could be an emotional matter. Alright, so we've got that done. Now, in some cases, you can add an aura around this and then darken that in, make it like a thick black line around each side, and that can really make this tangle pop. But for today, we're going to leave that off, and we're going to just go to our next section that we're going to do. And what I'd like to do is grab my pencil again, and let's sketch in this idea of the cartoon element. I want to have a couple crazy alien creatures that are caught up in losing their balance, and so they're going to be peeking through our little world here, and let's see how we can do this. I'm going to add one that's looking, maybe he's right about, let's see, let's put him down here more. So we can draw a nice little head shape, kind of like an oval, a little more pointed at the bottom where the chin would be. We'll have a couple big eyeballs because he's going to be surprised. He did not expect to lose his balance today, and his mouth's going to be open to reflect that. Now we're going to make this real simple. So he's going to have these wavy arms that come out. So I'm giving him a two-sided arm. He's going to have his little body, so it's going to be kind of like a oval shape as well. And his other arm is going to come out And these guys have really, really long arms, as you can see. We kind of want to complement our shape of our Stikz pattern there. And now he's going to have a couple legs coming out too. These are really wobbly little alien creatures. So we've got a crazy guy like that. And then I'm going to add another one up here in the corner. So I'm going to put his head in here. This guy's literally falling upside down in our drawing. So I'm drawing him right side up like this. His little body comes down here. Don't get too technical about your anatomy or anything like that. And now we'll just draw this guy's wavy arm coming here. Just like that. So we've got a couple of those guys. Now that we know where they're going to be, I want to draw one or two more sticks. In this case, I'm going to have some sticks coming out here a ways and just starting to fall down, like this whole thing is coming apart here. So I'm going to draw it over here. And I'll have this thing here. But this is not going to quite touch because it's starting to fall. Maybe I have another piece right here. And then there was another of the little orbs. And now these are, gravity is taken over, so they're starting to come down this way. Just fall right off the page like that. And I think I'm also going to put one right up here. That is also suffering from this idea of gravity. And just think of where our alien's going to be, so I'm going to have some pieces tumbling all the way down behind him here. Maybe they've even already hit the bottom and are bouncing. Just tumbling down. But now we can draw our aliens in place. When we draw these eyes, let's put a little dot right in the center to help accentuate that surprised look or what's going on. And I'm just going to ink in his mouth. And now we'll draw some ink to his body shapes here. Just like that, and we'll get his other arm coming through. Alright, and let's draw this other guy. These are just very, very simplified cartoons. Not a lot of details needed to convey our fun idea here. We will add some shading, but we're not going to worry about super details to our little cartoon characters. Just conveying this idea of movement and silliness. Now, what I'm going to do too, since I drew some pencil lines, I'm going to lightly erase those just because we're not going to do much in the background, so I don't want to have those little pencil lines distracting. So wherever we drew that, we can just erase those. Get rid of it, and now we can add some graphite. So we can shade Stikz however we'd like, but there's not a lot really to shade there, so I'm going to focus initially here on my alien characters. So I'm going to just add some basic areas that will give the form and look like there's some actual volume and shape to these characters and not just a hollow outline. So I'm going to try to shade around the edges of their bodies, and wherever those curves might be, it'll help add some shape to them. And you'll see how that works. If you just want to watch, you can certainly do that. I'm just adding a little bit though along the lines here, and then I'll blend that out and we can add some dimensionality to our characters. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I will shade wherever they have kind of gone behind these sticks, just so we can see the impression of a shadow there. It'll just help create depth. So I'll do that around here. And you can imagine, what would these guys in this alien world, why on Earth, or maybe it's not on Earth, that's the whole problem, why would they have these little sticks floating around? What are they doing? And they're falling apart. So what is going on exactly here? And you can just imagine it. Have some fun with it. Don't have to have a big elaborate thing, but what we have conveyed, no matter what they're doing, no matter why they're doing it, we've got the sense that something's out of control. These guys are being tumbled all over the place, and their little stacks of sticks are falling and not staying where they put them, and it looks like our main stack is about ready to fall too. Alright, now I'm going to blend some of this and let's see what we come up with. Just having some fun with this today. Hopefully you are as well. Sometimes it's a nice change of pace just to do something silly. Not actually trying to change the world, maybe just give ourselves a break, illustrating a feeling that we're having or some idea that's come to us. It's a good challenge too, as I said, to just, if you've kind of run dry on ideas or layouts to try, just have some fun with something really unusual. Just break the mold a little bit, so to speak. I think you find your creativity tries to bounce back, and if nothing else, you challenge yourself, like trying to learn, well, how would I illustrate this particular idea? What could I do within my skill set, or even outside of it if you want to push yourself, but what can I do to convey this idea? And I just find that to be a good challenge, and surprising how it sometimes will result in new ideas, new skills. Alright, so our guys are pretty well shaded in there. They seem to be fitting the deal pretty well. They look a little topsy-turvy and chaotic. So is there anything we can do to our sticks? Well, if we have orbs that are large enough, we could add a little bit of a reflective curvature there to make them have some shape. My orbs are kind of small, so there's not a lot I can do there, but I'm going to add just a touch of graphite to a few of these and see how that looks. I guess it accomplishes a basic task of providing a little bit of contrast. Just adding that in. And of course, if you wanted to add color, you could add some color maybe to the sticks. That might add an interesting effect. So do that over here on these. Just adding some of that contrasting value. Just barely needs anything. I wonder if we could add a little bit of shadow along some of our sticks here. Maybe on the outside edge. Let's just see what that would look like. We may find that, oh, we should have left it alone, but let's see. Let's just check it out. What harm is it? We're having fun already. If we're illustrating that we've lost our balance, maybe losing our mind here and trying something new is part of losing that balance. I'm going to add a little bit of shade on the bottom side of these just to indicate maybe that falling direction a little better. We'll see. Just putting a touch of the pencil marks in there, and then I can blend it a little bit. I don't want to overcome these shapes and make them look completely dark, but just bringing them to life a little bit. I think that helps. Just gives a little more contrast to the drawing, a little more dimensionality perhaps. It's a very basic technique here, nothing fancy, as I said. Now you could look at this and say, well, what can I do in the background? Well, you could add some additional tangle patterns if you wanted to, but sometimes a little bit less is actually more, as they say. And so I'm not going to get too crazy with stuff in the background because I think I like just showing this crazy loss of equilibrium here just like it is. And it just means that I was able to spend a few minutes creating something fun today. Well, that's really it, folks. Very simple, but I hope it was fun to do this playful drawing, and we can go ahead and sign that however we like. And we've got our drawing for today. So at this point, I'll simply say thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see everyone very soon back here in the Tangles and Toons channel. Until then, take care. Bye-bye now.